All right, it's white paper review time. Today we're going to be taking a look at the game Pegaxy. This is a game that I've heard from some of my friends in my old scholarship group. It is a horse racing game with breeding as well as a scholarship-based system, sort of based on what Axie Infinity uses. They've got a utility token called VIS. I'm gonna pronounce that Viz, and then a governance token PGX. So, there's some interesting stuff, some potential opportunities to earn. If this is the right collection, it's not verified, but it appears to be correct. Do your own research just to double check. But if this is correct, the floor for these things is around half of an ETH, which is really expensive. That's over 2,000 bucks. So let's take a look at this white paper and let's learn what's going on in this game, Pegaxy. So hopefully or Pegacy, is it just Pegacy? Let's call it Pegacy. So Pegacy is a play-to-earn PvP-style horse racing game where players compete for top 3 placement against 11 other racers. Each race has randomized elemental variables, which include wind, water, fire, speed, and more. Using strategic upgrades, food, and skill, players must place in the top 3 to earn the platform's utility token, Viz. Within the game, players are able to breed, rent, sell, and of course, race their Pega to earn Viz tokens. So definitely, you know, basing some of this on the first few big NFT games, probably Axie being the biggest one. This system has proven to be a sound long-term economic approach when building an NFT blockchain-based game, as it enables teams to build large guilds, scholarship programs, and even provides solo players the opportunity to earn a second income through daily racing. The initial sale of 5,000 founding Pega was held in October 2021, along with the PGX launch via IDO in November. These are the founding Pega. They're the only ones created by the Pegaxy development team, and each one after 5,000 has been created through the breeding model inside the game. Yeah, really just like Axie. That's absolutely seems like it's based on that, except with a different gameplay at the center of it. But breeding, scholarships, only minting the first 5,000 from the company. The rest are bred out by players. Very, very much some similarities there. Owners and scholars can earn by racing their. Oh, and I'll say right now, by the way, I'm not saying that you should definitely get involved in this game. I genuinely don't know. I'm just reviewing the white paper because I'm interested. I do not know if it's a good or a bad investment. I don't know if the gameplay is fun, although I have some idea from talking to people. We'll get into it. Just to be clear, it's not a recommendation or an anti recommendation. I'm actually looking at this white paper for the first time with y'all. So just to put that out there. Okay. Owners and scholars can earn by racing their Pega in PvP mode, selling high-performing or newly born Pega on the marketplace, renting out the Pega in the rental marketplace. This is something that Axie does not have, but for example, Splinterlands does, and rentals are something that I'm a big fan of that I don't think enough games have, so that's cool. Collecting rare founding and crowned Pega and reselling them through price speculation. Competing in a global competition called the Grand Dash. This competition takes place over 12 months, concluding in December, in which the top 12 racers of every class compete in a series of events, and the top 15 are identified at the grand final to receive generous PGX rewards. So that kind of sounds like Axie's seasonal challenge, except even crazier. Only 15 people is not a lot. Those rewards must be pretty big. On release in late 2022, players will be able to stake their PGX tokens inside the community treasury for rewards. Okay. It's built on Polygon, which is cool. Utilizes dual token economic model introduced by Axie Infinity in late 2020. The game will be released in 2D and transition to 3D once testing is complete and compatibility with low-end Android devices is confirmed. This is their way of trying to potentially have an opportunity to grab a third world economy sort of use case similar to what the Philippines and Axie Infinity, the idea that the game is going to run on quote unquote low end Android devices is, to me, it's a way of saying, in these communities where there isn't as much money going around, this game will have the ability to reach those people, which is a good thing. That's a good idea, especially given that they have a scholarship model, since that is how Axie really had that crazy growth earlier this year. Mobile gameplay is the primary focus. That's not surprising. Enabling large-scale scholarship programs and guild growth through the in-game economic model is the forefront of importance. That's, yeah, exactly what I just said. See, this creates widespread opportunity for those in developing countries to access the game for free and earn during the global pandemic. This aligns heavily with our team ethos. So there you go. Through community involvement and eventual governance, the Pegaxy game direction and development will be dictated by the players. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the players dictating too much of the development. I think you need kind of a separation from the players and the developers a little bit, but obviously player governance is a big thing. Okay, anyway, that's kind of a separate thing. Like, should players design their own games? Like, maybe not. Should people who read books write, tell the authors how to write the books? Like, maybe not. Yeah, I don't know. It's not always best. That's a separate video to talk about that maybe, but the vision here, through strategic development and community insights, Pegaxy aims to become the home of horse racing in the metaverse while simultaneously providing an ecosystem where users are able to play, socialize, and work in the same space. Yes, of course, the utopia of horse racing. Like, they make it sound very fancy. At the end of the day, it is digital horse racing, which is where I kind of, I'm not hating, but I am kind of laughing a little bit. So they list 3 people here who work on the game. I feel like in order to keep this video a little bit bite-sized, I'm going to kind of glaze past that. Before moving forward, it should be noted, I'm reading from the gameplay section now, that all races are free to enter and no fee is required to race. The minimum requirement is 1 Pega, which costs, as we saw, if this is the correct collection, because it isn't verified, but if this is correct, it costs over $2,000 to get a Pega, but once you have one, then it's free to enter. Once you enter the Pegaxy game, you simply need to click the Race tab. Got a photograph here or a screenshot. And, I might be able to do some gameplay soon if I'm able to get a short-term scholarship from one of my friends. I don't want to commit to something super long-term, but I could probably figure something out. I'm hoping to get some gameplay footage up, get some videos, get at least one video. Coming soon if I can work that out. I'm working on it. But I like to read the white paper first to decide if I actually want to do even a month of scholaring. I don't know. It just makes sure it's worth the time. That's why we're doing this first. Once you enter the game, you click race. You'll see an instant matchmaking area. Click ready, and you'll be instantly pushed into a lobby according to your Pega's class. We're going to get to that in a second, I think. Once your lobby is full, a countdown begins. Okay, there's some gear that you can adjust. For example, they say a chest plate could add 1% strength and then remove 1% speed or fire. So small adjustments with gear. This is their way of having skill have some role. I know what's coming, though. Let's get to it. When it's important to use strategy when selecting and fitting on gear to match the race conditions. Having the most amount of gear stacked during a race doesn't guarantee a win. However, gear, when used with strategy to your advantage, will assist you in balancing your Pega's performance. Okay, I'm rolling my eyes now because I know what they're about to say. So, ready? Let me get to the part where I'm kind of letting them say it before I say it, which is this. At initial game release, the race is primarily determined by RNG. A fair opportunity to place in the top 3. In other words, it's completely fucking random with very, very small aspect of gear. My friend who I talked to who's played this game told me that literally I was like, how much is the skill? Is there a lot of skill? Because I don't want to have too much theory crafting. I'm kind of busy trying to get potentially into the top 1,000 Axie or whatever. I don't know. I don't want to get too distracted. And they were like, no, it's just RNG. It's just random. I was like, oh, okay. So, no, that's your gameplay for now, which yeah. They say here, though, we are working hard to bring in as many player-controlled factors as possible, which will allow for higher skill players to have a better chance at top 3 placement, as they have invested more time into understanding the game mechanics. An update will be released a few months after game release. So that's, if they make it more skill-based, that's cool. Right now, it's just fucking RNG at the end of the day, which at the core of this whole thing is just RNG horse racing, makes me potentially skeptical. But what they say here, again, just to keep going, they'll eventually migrate from auto racing to more traditional manual skill-based, manually controlled races. So that's going to be, if that happens, then we're good. But if it doesn't happen, it's kind of silly, the whole thing. But if you manually race, it makes sense. And that could be fun. That could be really fun. After the race, you can view the Pega that completed. You can view race histories and a bunch of other stuff, race replay. So you can just move on by, or you can verify the information to some extent. The Grand Dash tournament. This is that. It's going to be the tournament that happens once a year. They mentioned it a little earlier. It's a cool idea, although it said that only 15 people are going to like get. Well, it's going to be 132 qualifying for the grand final of each class. Okay, so 660 players combined for the grand final. The grand final is the single largest day of racing in the metaverse, live streamed across all platforms at live statistics and races. Spectators are able to watch from the quarterfinals, semifinals, and the grand final for each class. A minor reward in PGX will be gifted to the top 12 of each class that qualify. PGX rewards are allocated initially from the ecosystem fund, and eventually they'll come from the community treasury. The rewards are generous, designed to assist in the growth of players in the game. As the game moves towards skill, it'll not just be those people with the most money who buy the best Pega. Yeah, the whole thing being RNG kind of makes it a little bit as far as having some kind of big grand final. Is it just RNG? So we got to looking forward to the manual racing for sure. As an owner in Pegaxy, there are multiple factors you need to consider when breeding, and that includes your personal goals. The costs of breeding, this is exactly like Axie Infinity. So there's increasing costs with each breed and a limit of 7, 30 PGX and an increasing VAS. This absolutely going off of Axie's model there. And they might change it over time. Pega are metal machines. When breeding, there are no restriction. Oh, God. Okay. When it comes to the rarity of Pega and their bloodlines, it's important to understand the table below. Rarest to least rare. So Haas is the rarest and Zan is the least rare. So Haas is good, Zan is lame, Kiln is pretty good, Campona's dope. If you're breeding a Haas Pega male, the rarest bloodline, with a Kiln Pega female, the third rarest bloodline, the baby Pega is guaranteed to be born as a Klin. So you always get the rarer one when you combine them? Okay. I'm not a big breeder, so this is a little bit outside of my zone. Basically, they give lots of details on breeding. The gender is based on 50-50, but there could be NFT food types that alter percentage chances in the future. Okay, let's get out of the breeding section. I don't want to think about that. Too complicated. Renting. The Pegaxy rental system is the first trustless rental system inside a play-to-earn game with a dual system or dual token economy. Okay, that sounds like a lot. Security for the renter and the manager. Instead of having manual payments, there's an automated payout and rental process, which is great. That is a really nice upgrade. Automated, and hopefully there's less risk of managers getting punished because they have scholars that are multi-accounting or whatever. Like if it's rental based within the game, hopefully you can just lend shit out and not worry about someone getting your whole fucking thing banned or whatever. There's fixed renting, profit share, and direct rental. Fixed rental means someone puts it on the market for a price and amount of time, so you could pay $10 for a month or whatever. Profit share is like the scholarship model, so the player earns 60% and then the owner of the asset earns 40% or something like that. And then direct rental with guilds. You can create a rental contract, send to the scholar for them to accept, and it's direct. So that means, you can offer a scholarship to one person in particular. You don't have to list all your scholarships on some kind of open marketplace. So that's good. You can just do it direct. They have a native marketplace with all the normal stuff. The Pegaxy marketplace is a 3% seller fee. That's good. It's lower than Axie. Axie is 4.25%, so that's pretty good. There's some fees. Okay. Let's keep going. Governance token. We're almost done here, I think. That's most of what I was concerned about. All the tokens are on Polygon, and Polygon is a layer 2 on Ethereum. So that's fine. Polygon's a big chain, so nothing weird there. And nothing super interesting here. There's a token unlock and release schedule. I will leave that to y'all to peruse if you want to get deep in there. What is the utility token? Let's take a look at this. So in short, Viz is the primary earning and spending token inside the Pegaxy ecosystem. To be clear, Viz is minted through players placing inside the top 3 when racing. There was no like sale of Viz. It's burned through the breeding model, which is similar to Axie. You know, it's just like SLP and AXS. They have the PGX token and Pegaxy for governance, and VIS is the reward token. The goal is to create a reasonably balanced mint and burn ratio, avoiding micromanagement. They're able to earn by racing. The amount earned depends on the class the Pega is racing in and their overall placement. Top 3 only gets tokens. Yeah, pretty simple. And then Fabled Tokens. Let's see what this is. I don't know what this is. A simple concept, yet a very powerful tool for those lucky enough to have them in their possession. They give players the ability to evolve their normal Pega into a crowned Pega. They were earned by referring a person to the Pegaxy platform and having them purchase at minimum 1 Pega. Fabled tokens do not expire or disappear. They remain in your wallet until they are used and burned or sold on the peer-to-peer marketplace. You can attempt to evolve a Pega at any point in time. Fabled tokens are an ERC20 token on Polygon. They're limited to 4,800 maximum amounts of attempts at evolving. Less than 50% are successful. So what happens if they reach 800 before all the tokens get used, though? That sucks. Is there something else you can use it on? Oh, you could try to evolve them again. Up to Pentacrowned. Okay, so there's some, like, it's like a mystic Axie kind of thing. A very rare kind of Pega. Okay. I mean, I think we pretty much covered it. I'm not too worried about the lore or too deep of the specifics. The founding Pega are the first 5,000. And, you know, it's just if the game is big, those things are going to be super valuable because that's just how that stuff kind of works usually. The crowned Pega thing we already talked about. Tracks and stadiums. Okay, this is interesting. You can own a stadium inside the metaverse, and people will race on your stadium. They'll have a dominant trait, water, wind, strength, speed, or something else. Each track's dominating factor will also be its appearance. This is a early draft of the Wind Stadium. Yeah, okay, you know, that needs some work. So that's not ready, really. You know, I would go back and keep working on that. When it can, this looks better down here. When it comes to stadium ownership, we understand not every player will be joining us day one. We'll stagger sales of stadiums into milestone-based sales events. How can you earn from the stadium when the races are free to enter? Stadiums will earn a certain percent of the ecosystem revenue based on how many races are held in the stadium. Okay. They mentioned gear. You can use this to adjust your stats on your Pega. Food is a single-use item for gear. Temporary changes in the Pega's attributes. Effects of food last 7 days. Okay. Cool. And that's it. All right. So yeah, Pegaxy looks like it could be interesting. The fact that it's like all RNG is kind of a turnoff. I don't really know if I'm going to get around to actually playing it myself, but I'm going to see. If I have a good opportunity to use a team, I mean, if I can rent using the rental system, then I could do that. I don't really want to like bug anybody to try to get one from them because I'm not going to want to play very long. If I can test it out with the rental system, though, I'll try to do a video of that. That would be cool. So let's plan on trying to do that. But yeah, let me know. Have you played Pegaxy? Do you own any of these things? I mean, if you do, goddamn, because they look really expensive. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. That's it for today. Some big stuff coming soon. Exciting things. But that's going to be it for today. Have a great rest of your evening or whatever time of day it is. That's it. Flux signing out.